Hey, what's up? I'm Rob Ruscher, and in this video, we're looking at the differences between Slog3 and S Cinetone. Now, these are two of the profiles offered on the Sony FX cameras, including the FX9, FX6, and FX3. Slog3 is the flattest profile they offer, gives you the most amount of dynamic range, and it's very similar to what you'd get from a raw image. However, your white balance and ISO are baked in. S Cinetone is a baked-in profile with pleasing skin tones. Because of this, it's very easy to work with in post, and there's not much more you need to do. However, you do lose dynamic range, and if you wanted to push for a certain look or color cast, you'll be limited on what you're able to do with this profile. More on that in the test later. Right now, I'm being shot on the FX9. In the test clips you're about to see, I use the Sony FX3. I've yet to see a difference between the FX9, FX6, and FX3, so I didn't find it necessary to compare the three different cameras. I had 4 questions I wanted to answer to help me decide which profile to use for which project. How different are the two profiles? What do I lose by not shooting an Slog3? How much time can I gain by shooting an S Cinetone? And can I match the two profiles? To get a better understanding of these profiles, I brought in colorists Lars Bradenberg and Brandon Jones to help me answer my questions. A big thank you to them for taking the time to color these clips and share their thoughts. I filmed these setups as if it was a paid job. I adjusted the camera settings, the lighting, and the filtration to get the image I wanted. This allowed me to better understand the profiles and clearly see their differences. For our first setup, we did a simple interview in a kitchen. This was shot on the DZO Vespid 50mm prime and 8th Black Pro Mist filter. Lars Bradenberg colored these clips, and we were going for a clean 709 look. When I switched over to S Cinetone, the 8th Black Pro Mist looked a little too strong, so I swapped it for a 16th. This wasn't something I was expecting, and if anyone knows why, let me know in the comments below. My best guess is the reduced dynamic range and/or the S Cinetone being a much sharper profile. The biggest difference we saw was how much information we lost in the window in S Cinetone. Slog3 also softened the skin tone way more. The next setup emulated product shots I've done in the past, so I went for a higher contrast, lower light vibe for this because I wanted to see how each profile handled that. Brandon Jones colored these clips, and his first note was how much better Slog3 handled the highlights. When shooting in S Cinetone, it's important to get as close to the final look that you can. If you are at all worried about your client changing their mind, Slog3 would be the better option, especially in a low light scene. After talking to Lars and Brandon and going over the clips, I was able to answer my 4 questions. The dynamic range and overall image sharpness are the biggest differences between Slog3 and S Cinetone. The loss in dynamic range is what you lose the most by not shooting an Slog3. Can they easily match? Ideally, the same sensor is shot on the same color profile. However, if you need to match these cameras, you won't have too much trouble. When I asked Lars this question, he told me, there will always be some slight difference to the two profiles. The dynamic range is going to be the tell in these situations. That's the biggest one, and sharpness could be depending on lenses used. Can I save time using S Cinetone? Both colorists mentioned that with the tools available today, it's not much time saved. Having a fast enough computer that doesn't force you to render every time you make a color adjustment also makes this easier. S Cinetone looks great, and what I saw on my camera monitor is exactly what it looked like in Premiere. There will still be some projects I use this profile on, but for my testing, I'm more inclined to film on Slog3. Now, every project is different, and there's still a place for S Cinetone. However, from this test, I see how much is gained by filming in Slog3. I hope this video helps you decide which profile to use on your next project. Thanks for watching.